Hello, readers. Today we are continuing our historical fiction unit, and this is lesson 4. I just want to remind you the lessons that we have been working on so far. Readers of historical fiction read analytically, studying parts that clue them into the facts, feelings, or setting. They fit the pieces together. They figure out the main character's timeline and the historical timeline. And today we're going to do this. We're going to realize that a character's perspective is shaped by the times and by his and her role. So our teaching point is readers analyze how a character's feelings and decisions are influenced by finding a part of the text where the main character faces a problem or makes a decision. We're going to ask, does my character respond differently than I would? Is my character's perspective shaped by the times, and why? The academic vocabulary that you will hear in this lesson is perspective. Remember that the word perspective is how the character feels, what he or she thinks. So what we're trying to achieve in this lesson is we want to read closely parts of the text where we learn more about the character's perspective by looking at a problem or a decision. And this is going to help us make sense of the plot in a deeper way. So I'm going to model to you using The Babe and I. This was our read aloud last week. And I thought, what was a good part where I noticed that my character is facing a problem or makes a decision? And I immediately thought about the part where our narrator discovers that his father has lost his job and is now selling apples. So I want to look back at this part with you, and after reading, I'm going to ask myself, does my character respond differently than I would? And is my character's perspective shaped by the times, and why? So let's go ahead and read this part. We played for a while, and then Jacob said, I have to go to work. Come with me. We can have a catch while we walk. A few blocks from home, we passed a woman selling apples. Her clothes were wrinkled and shabby. I gave her my birthday dime and bought 2 apples, one for me and one for Jacob. I was glad to get rid of that dime. It reminded me of the present I didn't get. We turned onto Webster Avenue, and there were more apple sellers near the next corner. I saw a large briefcase. I looked up, and there was Dad, selling apples, like the others. Suddenly, I couldn't move. Come on, Jacob said. I pointed. Oh, he whispered. I thought your dad had a job. So did I, and Mom thinks so too. There were tears in my eyes as I watched people walk past my father. I wished so much that someone would buy an apple from him, but no one did. I realized how he had earned my birthday dime and was sorry I had spent it. So in this part of the text, I realized that my character just discovered that his father no longer has a job. He could have become really upset about it and sort of just given up. But instead, he's deciding to become a newsie with Jacob. Now I want to ask myself, does my character respond differently than I would? If I was living during this time and I was going through the same situation, I would probably feel really terrible about my father losing his job. But I would probably do the same thing that the narrator is doing. He's picking himself up and he's deciding to do something about it. Is my character's perspective shaped by the times, and why? Well, I know that my character's role in this part of the text is that he's just a young boy. And what he's feeling is he thinks that he needs to do something to help out his family. During these times, he's living during the Great Depression. So a lot of people have lost their jobs. For example, Jacob's father, our narrator's best friend, mentions that his father also has lost his job. So they have a very similar situation. But again, our character's deciding to do something about it. He's going to go out there and try to help his family. So it makes us realize that he is sort of growing up. He no longer cares about that bike he really wanted. All he wants to do now is help out his family. So readers, now it's your turn to try. Remember that in this lesson, we're realizing that our character's perspective is shaped by the times and by his or her role. So let's think back to Rose Blanche and her actions. She decided to help these Jewish children behind the barbed wire and bring them some food, risking her life. I want you to think, does my character respond differently than I would? Is my character's perspective shaped by the times? Why? Go ahead and pause the video and think about this and how you would respond. Great job, guys. So I want to remind you of our teaching point. Readers analyze how a character's feelings and decisions are influenced by finding a part of the text where the main character faces a problem or makes a decision. By asking, does my character respond differently than I would? By asking, is my character's perspective shaped by the times, and why? So now that we have tried this lesson, I want you to think about how you will try it independently. You are going to be rereading chapter 1 of But Not Buddy independently. This was our read aloud this morning. You're going to flag places where your character is facing a problem and has to make a decision. So you're going to think about Bud. You're going to think, and then you're going to jot. How is my character responding? Does my character respond differently than I would? Is my character's perspective shaped by the times, and why? And this was exactly what was modeled for you. So you guys are going to do the same thing. If you are done with all of this and you're ready to try something to step up the rigor, try an inferring about character stop and jot. Before I let you guys go, I just want to remind you that there is a stop and jot exemplar that you can look back to. It's the same questions that were in the lesson. How is my character responding? And I just typed out for you guys what I said in the lesson about our narrator in The Babe and I. So you can read this if you need help. And highlighted are some sentence starters that you can use in your own stop and jot. So just remember that you are going to be using but not buddy to do this stop and jot. Good luck, everybody.